What's the best way to start working out? Well, I get asked this all the time, seriously, all the time. And most of the time when someone asks me, I think it's because they want to do the right thing, meaning they're already worried about getting it wrong. We hear so many rules about exercise, so many musts, so many this is the only way. And honestly, when it starts to feel that complicated, it can stop you before you even begin. Here's the thing I want you to hear right up front. You don't need to be perfect, you need repeatable. In this video, I want to help you think clearly about how to get started without burning out before you begin. Think about starting exercise like a flywheel, and I'll credit author Jim Collins for the metaphor, but you actually don't need to know anything about business to get this. At the beginning, the flywheel is heavy. It takes a lot of effort just to get it moving. And when you first start working out, it can feel exactly the same way. You're putting in effort, but you're not seeing much happen yet. Well, that's normal. And honestly, that's where so many people stop. I've been in the fitness industry for, well, let's just say a long time, since leg warmers were a thing. And countless times I've experienced participants who try something once and are maybe not 100% successful and right away decide that this isn't for them. But here's the important part. Every time you show up, even if it's short, even if it's not perfect, you add a little more momentum to your flywheel. And over time, something shifts. The flywheel gains momentum and starts to turn more easily. Exercise stops feeling like a decision you have to argue with yourself about and starts to feel like something you just do. And really, that's how habits are built. Not through intensity, not through doing everything perfectly. It's through doing something repeatably. And that's what I want to help you with today. I want to share 5 things to focus on when you're getting started. We'll start with what I believe is the most important one. Know your why. And I know that word can sound a little overdone, but here's what I mean by it. Your why is your anchor. It's the reason you're choosing to move, especially on those days when motivation is low. Now, for some people, it's about having more energy. For others, it's about managing stress, moving without pain, or keeping up with kids or grandkids. And yes, for some people, it is about how they look, and that's okay too. Well, my why, well, it's changed over the years. In all honesty, when I was younger, it did used to be about looks and aesthetics, but now I'm exercising for my brain. It makes me feel mentally better, sharper, happier, and I manage stress better. And I'm also exercising for my future self. I want to be a healthy, active, vibrant, hopefully able-bodied and physically capable 80 and 90-year-old. I don't want to be a burden to my husband or my 2 beautiful daughters. They're a huge motivation. I had children a little later in life than some, so I don't want to be a burden to them when they're in their prime of life. But the important thing is this. Your why must mean something to you. Not what you think it should be, not what someone else told you it should be, because when motivation dips, and it will, your why is what keeps you showing up. So if you haven't already, take a minute to define it, write it down, keep it somewhere you'll see it. You don't need it to be perfect, you just need it to be yours. Now, once you're clear on why you want to move, the next step is making it easier to actually follow through. It's about removing decision fatigue before it shows up. It's pre-deciding the when, the where, and the what. When you're going to move, where you're going to move, and what you're going to do. Now, this idea comes from habit research, and it's sometimes called implementation intention. But you don't need to know the term. You just need the idea, which is super simple. The more decisions you make ahead of time, the fewer decisions you have to make in the moment. And that really matters because decision fatigue is a real thing. So instead of saying, I'll try to exercise 3 times this week, drill down and get specific. Decide something like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 a.m. in the morning in the living room doing a 20-minute workout. Now, I'm lucky I teach MOSSA workouts a few times during the week, but for the rest of my movement week, I have to schedule it in or I know it won't happen. So Sunday nights, I always plan for the week ahead. When the plan is clear, you don't have to rely on motivation. You just follow the plan you already made. And remember, you don't need to get this perfect. You just need something that you can repeat. Okay, assuming your plan is clear, you've already decided when, where, and what, something interesting happens. It becomes much easier to get started. And this is where timing can really work in our favor. And the idea is Don't miss Monday. There's a well-studied concept in behavioural science called the fresh start effect. It shows that people are more motivated to start new habits around natural time markers like the beginning of a year, a birthday, or the start of a new week. Monday is one of those moments. It feels like a reset, a clean page. And here's how I like to think about it. Monday isn't about being perfect. It's simply about creating momentum early in the week. When you move on Monday, you're far more likely to move again. So if you're able to, use Monday as a starting point. Speaking of Mondays, it's the busiest day of the week on our on-demand platform, MOSSA On Demand. We even have a weekly challenge that kicks off each week called Never Miss Monday. If you want to take out some of the guesswork of working out, even if it's not Monday, we'd love for you to try it out. It's free to get started. Just follow the links below in the description. And now back to the video. Now, once you've chosen a starting point, the next step is making it easier to follow through. And that means this. Make it easy to start. I was listening to a fantastic podcast conversation between Andrew Huberman and author James Clear, and something James said really stayed with me. He talked about how when it comes to habits, so many of the challenges come down to one small but significant moment, the moment you decide to start. Not the whole workout, not the full plan, just that beginning. Sometimes it's a 5-minute window, sometimes it's 30 seconds. And what he's seen over and over again is that people don't struggle because they can't do the habit. They struggle because it feels hard to get started each time. And when you think about it that way, a lot of habit challenges fall into two buckets. Either it's hard to get started or it's hard to keep showing up consistently. Now, I'll tackle that one in a future video, but both of these things come back to the same idea. How easy or hard are you making it to start? So when you're getting started with exercise, give yourself permission to make the beginning super easy. Short workouts count. 10 minutes counts, laying your clothes out the night before counts, keeping your equipment visible and handy counts. All of these small actions reduce friction and make starting easier. Remember, you don't need perfect, you need repeatable. And this brings me to the last thing I want to focus on today, which is blocking out the noise. The fitness industry is loud, and with social media, it is only getting louder. Everywhere you look, there's a new trend, a new promise, or a new best way to work out. And what I see over and over again is people getting stuck trying to choose the perfect type of exercise instead of just choosing exercise. So let me simplify this. The best workout is not HIIT or Pilates or yoga or strength training. The best workout is the one you'll actually do, the one you will keep turning up for. If you enjoy it, if it feels manageable, and if you can come back to it again, it's a good choice. You don't need to optimize every detail. You don't need to chase what's trending. You need something that fits your life and that you can repeat. And blocking out the noise, that doesn't mean ignoring information. It's about giving yourself permission to stop overthinking and simply start moving. Okay, so if you're getting started or starting again, here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to get it right the first time. Pick one or two things that stood out to you today and put them into practice this week, because starting matters. And momentum builds when you keep starting again. You don't need perfect, you need repeatable. In a future video, I'll talk about how to stay consistent once you've started, because that's where habits really take shape. If you're looking for guided workouts that take the guesswork out of getting started, with smart programming, great music, coaching you can trust, and a community to share it with, that's exactly what we focus on with MOSSA On Demand. You can try it free and see if it's the right fit for you. The link is in the description below. Now, before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're going to focus on as you get started or started again? You can leave it in the comments below. And if you want more conversations like this, grounded in science, experience, and real life, make sure you subscribe to the channel.